Hello, hello. All right, if you guys can hear, if the volume sounds good, please click some thumbs up so we know that we're good to go. We're going to be covering some good material tonight. So what we're going to be going over is basically how to set up your meal plan. You know, we're more than halfway through the year at this point, and so many people have fallen so far off their goals that they set for themselves, you know, for New Year's resolutions. And it's never too late. And the one good thing as far as living in Florida, if you're watching from Florida, is it's basically summer year round. Until it gets to January, you can basically wear a bikini year round and you'll be okay. But you got to have that bikini body to feel comfortable. And so that's the one thing we want to talk about today, is not going crazy with any type of drastic, exercise plan and meal plans, all this kind of stuff, but you want to fit something that's natural and a lifestyle change so that you can continue this on. And it's not just for the next 8 weeks, it's for the next 80 years or whatever it happens to be. So, we really want to try and make some sound, healthy choices when it comes to our day-to-day meal plan. But if we don't know what our meal plan is, then we just kind of wing it. And winging it normally leads to just taking whatever's convenient. And when you take whatever's convenient, generally that's not what you should be eating. So we're going to go through and show you some different meal options of what you can prepare ahead of time. And that way you can start to make your perfect grocery shopping list. And that way you'll never fall off track. Now, whenever we do these live broadcasts, it's normally because I've had multiple people ask me throughout that day, throughout the week, the same questions over and over. And that's what we're going to be sharing with you tonight. But one of the biggest things is having that willpower to not choose the bad food and to choose the good food. But the problem is most of the time that bad food is readily available and it's sitting there waiting for you and it doesn't have to be prepared. The good healthy meal has to be prepared and you have to take the time to actually make that. So that's where that extra step in being ready for those battles is going to come into play. So when it comes to having, a snack time that you really want to go to the fridge and you're getting ready to make either a good choice or a bad choice, if you have that good food sitting right there next to the bad food, then it just comes down to how bad you want it. And at that point, if your goals are big enough, and if there's a health reason, if there's a long-term goal, then that should keep you in line. I can't help you after that. All right. But at least if we can arm ourselves for success and have that available to us, it's going to help you to make better choices majority of the time. So what I want to do with you today is share a link that I've put together, and it's going to have all the information you need to go forward after today. With this link, it's going to show you how to set up all your day-to-day meal plan. It's going to show you how to program MyFitnessPal, and from that, we're going to go over how to make that into a grocery shopping list for you and the whole family. Now, the other cool part about having a plan is that you're going to be able to take that plan and stick to it, and you're going to save a lot of money. So one of the things that happens when you go to the grocery store, and we went hungry this past weekend, you spend an extra $100 or you spend an extra $50. When you have the exact amount of ounces and grams and whatever it is that you need to go and buy from the store of your meats and your carbs and your vegetables and fruits, then you just buy it. So even if you decide that you want to have a certain type of steak or beef or whatever it is, and it was supposed to be chicken, at least you're going to buy the same amount of ounces as you're supposed to buy. You're not putting something bad into your house. You're just putting a different type of protein into it. So on this link here, let me go share this. Give me just a second, guys. We're going to go ahead and share this over to my main Facebook page. And it looks like you can see my screen. Shell, is that popping up there? Does that look right?
No.
You can't see the screen yet? Oh, here we go. There it is. It should work now. Yes. Come on, it's showing it on mine. New software, guys. We're trying to share screens here on this stuff, but if not, we can go ahead and obviously just keep covering the material we got here. See it now? As I said, it looks like it's great on mine. Oh, here we go. Beautiful. Guys, new technology, like I said, trying to figure this out. All right. So when we get here, and you do see it on the full screen, right?
Okay, now I see it.
Yes. All right. That's a win for tonight. Oh, it looks like it's gone. All right. Well, guys, regardless, the first thing you want to know is you want to know what your proteins, your carbs, your fats are and what they do. So that's where I want to start with, is you just need to know the basics of it. And how I like to explain it, it makes it really, really simple. And all I want you to think about is thinking of your food as fire and firewood. All right. So what I want you to think about is this. your carbohydrates are going to be like sticks, lighter fluid, anything that's quick and easy fuel to start a fire. So, in your fire situation, you can't just light a log on fire and all of a sudden you have this fire. You have to create that heat to get hot enough to burn the fire, and then that log will keep it going. So that's going to be your carbs. Now your log is going to be your protein. So think about something you go to Home Depot to buy, or you go to, get it delivered if you live up north. Those are going to be the things that you're going to use as your protein. That's going to be something that's going to keep you full for a long period of time. That's going to burn efficient, burn clean, and that's really going to keep your metabolism burning. So that's going to be your protein. Then I want you to think about a wet log. So when you have a wet log, what happens? It smokes all night long. You might spray it down at the end of the night and think your fire's out, and you wake up the next morning and it's still smoldering and still smoking. Well, that's your wet log, and I want you to think of that as fats. So fats are going to break down a little bit slower. And with fats, the whole thing with that is they're going to keep you full for a longer period of time, so you're not looking for that next snack and that next meal. So once you start to learn what protein, carbs, and fats do, and you can start putting them into the right place in your daily plan, it makes everything so much more, simple and cut and dry. You start making little rules for yourself instead of just winging it. I'm still trying to get this screen up here, guys, so we'll see what we got here. Do we see it?
No.
No? Come on, tell me it's coming up.
Now I do.
Yeah.
I'm on a delay.
I think we're all on a delay. So, all right. So what we're going to do here, I have the all-in-one nutritional reference guide set up for you. And so I went through and I laid out what I thought was going to be the most impactful things for you to be able to take a 5-10 minute chunk out of tonight and a 5-10 minute chunk out of tomorrow morning, master all this material, and be able to start using it. The one thing that I always try and do is put these nutrition seminars on a Thursday night, because really you can take that information, you can write out your list tomorrow, and then you can put it into action during the weekend. If we do this on Monday or Tuesday, you're kind of shot already for the week in my mind, because that's when most people have already had their grocery shopping done. They've already bought the wrong foods, and they've kind of already gone down that path for the week. So I'm all about planning. So if we can get ahead of things and we can get this mastered tonight, and you can make your list tomorrow, we can go back and forth through text messaging and make sure you have your good grocery shopping list, then you're on board for next week, and Monday starts off without any hiccups. So right here on this nutritional page right here, if you look at how it's all laid out, the first section here says nutrition basics to burn, build, and deliver. So when you get to that page, this is a summary of our general nutrition seminar that we do at LiveFit. So that's going to be that part here, just without interruptions and without questions. So instead of being 30 minutes, it's broken down, I believe, into 6 minutes there. So the one thing I want to go over again is not all calories are created equal. So I just sat down with somebody for a nutrition consultation at 6 o'clock tonight, and she was worried about how many calories she should eat. The one thing I want you to focus on is where those calories come from. So what I want you to always be able to remember is that carbohydrates contain 4 calories. Protein contains 4 calories, and fat contains 9 calories. If you know that, then it's something that'll help to kind of play into it a little bit better when you think about it. So calories are a unit of energy. They're basically fuel. So if you think about it, your fat is going to give you double the amount of energy, but also double the amount you have to burn off. So when you start looking at that, calories come from a source. Now, if you have a 100-calorie protein shake, it's 25 grams of protein. There's no carbs, no fat. That's not going to make you gain weight. That 100 calories is clean. Your body's going to use it. Your body's going to be a machine, fuel and repair everything in your body that it needs to. Now, if you had, say, pretzels or crackers and it was a 100-calorie snack pack, well, that's going to be 25 grams of straight carbohydrates. Now, if you are not active at that time, you are not going to burn those off, and that's going to end up storing, and it's going to basically be what's going to attach to your fat stores. So whatever shape your body is now, when you add those carbs that don't get burned, they tack on and tack on and tack on, and that's how we get these accentuated body shapes of what we look like when we used to be smaller, and then we start to gain weight because it adds on those areas. So your calories are not all created equal. Now, again, we talked about what proteins, carbs, and fats do, so you have that down. But now what we need to do is talk about where they come from. So with protein, how I identify that is anything that flew, walked, or swam during its life cycle. So they have sustained life. They have carried all those minerals, nutrients, amino acids, everything that they need to sustain life. They are now passing that life cycle on to you. Now, a nut, a bean, soy, those are all plants. So they didn't actually sustain life. Now, they have protein in them, but they're not going to be what we're going to consider a protein for this example. Now, again, we talked about protein is going to help to build, repair, heal muscles, organs, tissues, and it's a really important thing to keep in mind that it keeps you full for 2 to 5 hours. That's going to be important to remember because That's how we're going to start to set up our meal plan, is based around our protein, and then we'll add the carbohydrates and fats around that. Now we get into carbs. Carbs do two things for you. They give you energy and they make you happy. They also make you crash, but they make you happy for a short period of time. So what you need to know is that carbohydrates come from pasta, potato, bread, and rice. They also are going to come from fruit and sugar. Now, just like all calories aren't created equal, not all carbohydrates are created equal as well. So your fruit and sugar might both possess sugar in them, but they're going to break down two different ways. Our bodies as humans have been able to digest and process fruits. It gives us energy. It gives us vitamins, table sugar, fruity drinks, cocktails with extra sugar and stuff in them. And that is not the same. They're not going to give you energy. It's going to cause a quick blood sugar spike and then an even quicker crash. So you're stuck looking for a new energy source. You're hungry, you want a snack, and really it's just because your brain doesn't have enough energy basically to go because of the carbohydrate spike and crash. So this is going to be where your carbs come from. The key thing with this to remember is they only keep you full between 30 minutes and 2 hours depending on the source, and then also what you have with it. So if you have carbs by itself, they're going to get through your system a lot quicker and leave you looking for more energy, more food. If you have them with proteins and fats, they're going to break down a lot slower, but it's also going to give you a lot longer sustained energy. Next thing is fats. When you get into fats, they come from nuts, seeds, oils. Your protein is also going to have fats in them. So think about steak. Obviously, it has a little fat. The other thing is coconut oil and avocados. Those are going to be also what's considered a saturated fat, but they're healthy saturated fats because they contain something called MCTs, medium chain triglycerides. Your body's almost going to break it down like a carbohydrate. So when you look at the numbers of things on coconut oil, on avocado, and things like that, don't get scared off by the calories. Again, remember that it's a unit of energy. So it's going to be a longer sustained energy, and it's your body's way of basically breaking it down at a slower rate. So don't get scared off by the fats. All right, so the next part, number 3, what we want to cover is you got to eat for your activity. If you're not eating for your activity, then you're basically just winging it. So what you want to think about is protein should be laid out throughout all your meals. The definition of metabolism, and that's what we're all trying to boost, is the rate in which your body breaks down energy in order to sustain life. So protein, which is something that has sustained life, should be the foundation of every single meal. So you're going to start with proteins, and you're 3 times a day, 5 times a day, however many times that you're eating in a day-to-day basis. But then when you know that you're going to be most active, that's where you're going to put in carbs in the meal before them. So if you have a super active morning, you want to make sure that you maybe have some fruit or some oatmeal or something like that in your breakfast meal to make sure that your energy lasts throughout the morning. If you know that you just sit on your ass when you first get to work and you're typing through social media or whatever it is, well, then maybe you do a lower carb breakfast and you do a protein shake with peanut butter, or you do an avocado and an omelet or something along those lines. But you'd want to stick to something that had more fats, because fats are going to break down slower and they're going to give you a sustained energy. If you need that boost, though, that's where you would put in your carbohydrates. So as you start to lay out your day, you want to look, do I go to the gym at 5:30, 6 o'clock? Well, then I probably need to have a little bit of carbohydrates in my plan somewhere around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So that way when I get to my workout, the energy is there. Now, the 2 things to remember: if you are active, focus more on carbohydrates with your protein. If you are inactive during that time, so at night, at dinner time, that's where you're going to put in more fats. And if you look here, the other thing too, because you're going to think, how am I going to keep myself full? That's where you can put in more beans and different type of fibers type vegetables, and that's going to help keep you full for a longer period of time, sustain your energy, and not have that crash at 9:30, 10 o'clock where you go looking for ice cream or that other snack that you generally go to. Number 4, it's real simple. Make your own meals. You know what's in it. Pre-cut everything. If you cook everything, disappeared. If you cook everything, say on Sunday, and if you just have some chicken cooked and you have some rice cooked, and maybe you ground up a little beef, brown a little bit of ground beef. If you just have that in your fridge, it's ready for you. So now it's not what do I need to eat, it's what do I need to put together that's already prepared, and that's going to make a big difference. So with this, you want to make sure that that stuff is there for you, it's ready, because that way, instead of having the convenience of being something that's fast food or something packaged, your convenience is just scooping something out of the fridge. So keep it very, very simple. The other thing too, restaurants, fast food joints, they add sodium, preservatives, and all sorts of extra butter and oils to their food. It obviously makes it taste really, really good, but it doesn't mean it's healthy. Example is the McDonald's salad, and I'm sure you've heard this, but it has more calories than the actual Big Mac. It's because of the dressing. So if you made your own dressing with olive oil, or you made your own dressing of whatever it is, like, that's going to be healthier than what you're going to get from the store or a restaurant or anything like that. All right.
Can you enlarge the computer screen?
Yeah, you want to make that bigger? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, if you have something too, like, let me know.
I really can't see it.
Oh, there we go. Does that make it better? You'll be on the delay there.
Yeah, let me check.
Yeah, no?
Yeah, but now I don't see you. I just see.
Yeah, you're not going to see me. It's going to replace me with this.
Okay.
Okay, so here's some quick meal ideas, and I'm going to go ahead and share this link in the comments too. So you're going to have this. You can also screenshot this right now if you want, but the link will be better because you'll actually have a good, clear copy of it. So as far as breakfast, I mean, here's some breakfast ideas, lunch ideas, dinner ideas, and a bunch of snack ideas. The other thing that I've included on here is a video that goes over what I consider as good, healthy dessert options. Now, some of them are going to have some artificial sweeteners. If you're one of those artificial sweetener Nazis, don't complain to me about it. Just don't eat those recipes and move on to the next thing. The other thing down here you're going to have is the 5 healthy food swaps. So this talks about like buffalo chicken. This talks about all sorts of things that are like your comfort and go-to foods. So that's going to be a spot that you definitely want to make sure that you check out. The next one is talking about just asking questions. If you don't ask questions, you're never going to learn. You can ask my clients. You can check with the people here on Facebook and leave in the comments. I will answer any message you send, and it'll always be detailed. I don't send a yes or a no. I don't give the thumbs up. Like, I give you an actual reply back because I want you to learn. I figure if you learn, you're going to tell the next person, and it's going to save me answering a question again in the future. So the next nutrition seminar that we have is going to be August 10th at 7:40 p.m. That's going to be at our facility. We try and always do these on Facebook Live, but just like last time, if the camera dies, if something happens where we can't get audio, the people who are there get to hear it, and the people on Facebook don't get to hear it. The other thing when you show up live is we always have Fresh Choice Foods. They cater in food, so they'll have a meal there for you of some sort of different thing that they were serving that week on their menu. And normally Hard Body Sports Nutrition will be providing protein shake samples, protein bar samples, pre-workouts, aminos, all sorts of different things that are going to be healthy tools to help you on that edge along your path there. So that's going to be at 7:40 on August 10th. Go ahead and mark your calendars with that. Now, going back to the all-in-one nutrition plan, the biggest thing that I've had the most questions on is on MyFitnessPal. It is an awesome tool. It really is helpful, but the problem with MyFitnessPal is that it doesn't help you on its own. So if you use the MyFitnessPal protocols and you just enter that you want to lose 15 pounds, you want to lose 50 pounds, it's going to create this random amount of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and it's going to generate this crazy number of calories. The other thing, if you've used the software before, you know that if you enter exercise, it all of a sudden decides that you can have like another 50 grams or 100 grams of carbs for that day. To me, you want to create the deficit with your exercise and not eat it back. That doesn't really make sense. So this is something else that I went over today at the 6 o'clock nutrition consult I just had. So we're going to go over how to set up MyFitnessPal. Now, if you don't have your phone out for MyFitnessPal right now, don't worry about it. This is recorded, and you'll also be able to go back. And again, I'm going to share this link so you can go back and check this out anytime to make sure you're reading through this and understand it all the way. So when we go here to the 5 steps on how to use MyFitnessPal, the key things that you want to make sure you do is go to edit your goals. Now, it says right here, I'm not sure why, but MyFitnessPal loves to fill you up on carbs. So what I want you to do is I want you to reset your goals in the actual settings there. So you're going to go to the Goals tab. When you go to Goals, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to click the Calorie button. Now, it might say macronutrients in calories if you're using an iPhone, but it'll say something along those lines. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take, if you've gotten your body fat percentage tested from me recently, you're going to take your lean body mass and multiply it times 11. If you don't have a body fat percentage test recently, then you'll take your weight and you'll multiply it by 10, and that's going to be your initial starting point of calories. Now, the next thing you're going to do is they have these little scrolling wheels on there. And the one thing that's cool about the scrolling wheels is that you can go ahead and you can change it up at any different time. And you can say, drop it to 40% protein and see what the grams is that it gives you. You can change around your carbs and your fats, but you can always keep messing with those little scrollers, and you can find a daily goal average that seems like it's going to be attainable for you. Where I normally suggest you start is to go to 40% protein, 30% carbohydrates, and 30% fat. When you do that, that should keep you full. It should give you energy. You should not feel like you're deprived. It should be something that's a daily sustainable amount that you can always do. Now, as far as adjusting macros for more advanced goals of burning fat or building muscle, you can reach out to me on that. The only other way that I normally recommend besides this 40, 30, 30 is if you're trying to lose a little bit more weight quicker and if you're working out and being pretty active, put it to 50% protein, 25% carbohydrates, and 25% fat. That's a really good, safe amount that you're going to drop your carbs a little more, you're going to drop your fat a little more, and then you're going to get that metabolism boosting protein. So the next thing on here is you got to enter your stuff. So when you go to diary is going to be that section you're going to go to where you're going to enter all your meals. And it's so simple to do. It's not something you need to do every single day, but you need to do it until you get the hang of it. So what you're going to do is you just press the plus button on breakfast and you start searching for whatever you're going to eat. My example here was a Quest bar and a banana. It could be whatever it is, but you're going to start typing in whatever that food is, and it's going to pull up with something that's on there. Now, there's a database of all these people that use the MyFitnessPal software. So you're going to find some things that are correct, and you're going to find some things that are incorrect. I don't want you to worry so much as far as like focusing on if it's a gram or two off here and there. But if you see something that has a bunch of zeros and non-entered amounts, so if it doesn't show sodium and it doesn't show sugar, I would skip over that one and go to the next entry for banana, okay? Now, the easiest way to do it is if it has a barcode with your cell phone right in the MyFitnessPal app, you scan it and it enters the stuff right in there for you. It's super, super simple. Actually, I just looked right here. Easy peasy right there at the bottom, okay? So use it. What my recommendation is, and you'll see this towards the bottom, is enter your food ahead of time. So enter it tonight instead of waiting till tomorrow to do it. When you enter it tonight, then you know what mistakes are going to lie ahead for the next day and where you can course adjust. Now, checking your nutrition information and your macros. Now, if you look at the screenshot I have here, let me blow this back up real quick. So if you look at the screenshot I have here, this is when you have your phone in vertical mode. What you want to do, or portrait mode, if you turn it sideways and you turn it to landscape, what's going to happen is it's actually going to show you the amount of calories, protein, carbohydrates, fats, and it's even going to break down a few other subcategories. So you're going to see all that information right there. It's also going to tell you how much you have eaten for the day, and it's going to tell you how much you have remaining for the day to hit your goals. So if you started tonight for programming tomorrow morning and you entered breakfast and you enter your second meal and you enter your lunch, when you start looking at that and you see, obviously you're going to put your carbohydrates to the top of the day when you're most active, then you're going to see how much protein, how much fats, and maybe if you have a little bit of carbs left, then you can slide into the later afternoon spots. But it makes it so much more simple that it gives you a game plan of food you like instead of me just giving you some cookie cutter diet with 5 ounces of this and 2 ounces of that. That means nothing. You are going to now start to create your own meal plan this way, and that's where you really start to accelerate and take it to the next level. Again, we want to make this a lifestyle. This isn't supposed to be something that's a crash course in just eating, boiled chicken and sweet potatoes all the time. So the next part is going to be to adjust your portion sizes correctly or appropriately. What that normally means is this. If you are short on your protein, say, for the day, and you're short 50 grams, well, don't think that you have to add a whole nother meal. It's not that you have to add a whole nother meal. It's really just comes down to, say you ate 4 ounces at your couple different meals. Bump it up to 5 ounces, bump it up to 5.5, bump it up to 7. See where you need to go to take you to hit your goal number. Now, you might not be able to eat that on day one. So if your goal is 150 grams, or say for a gentleman, it might be 200 grams, that's a high goal and you're not going to be able to do that on day one. But maybe you can start at 75 grams tomorrow and you bump it to 100 and you keep adding 10 to 20 every couple of days until you hit that number. Two things are going to happen when you start eating more. One, initially, you're going to be so full and you're going to feel like eating has been your job. But two, within a couple days to a week, you're going to start becoming hungry in between all your meals, and you're going to know when that 2 to 3 to 4 hour mark hits because your body's going to be craving food. What does that mean? That means your metabolism is finally working, and that means it's burning. Now, the key with that, though, is make sure that you don't eat the wrong food after that. Make sure you make the right selection and have that food available for you. Now, we get down to number 5. It's don't enter your daily exercise. When you enter your daily exercise, it's really going to mess with your numbers. When you start doing that, it throws off whatever you had previously set for your goals, and you have to re-enter all that stuff again and reset your goals. So don't enter daily exercise, as tempting as that is to find out how many calories you burn. You don't really know. It's just a magical, mythical number that they've come up with. All right. So the very last thing, it says, I am a planner. I like to pre-enter my food so I know that I'm on track and ready for the day. Sometimes I'll put up to 2 days in advance to really help with meal planning and prep. So what you want to do, and everybody's always wondering, like, how many ounces do I need to eat? How many of this? I don't know. That's your plan. That's why you need to put in the calories there. Play with the scrolling numbers. Get to your 40% or 50% protein. Mess with your carbs and fats and get to a number that looks like it's attainable for you. Then start building out your daily meal diary. Once you've made one, turn it sideways, like I said, compare your day-to-day stuff and just make sure that you have all your numbers hit. And then from there, you're on pace and on course, ready to go. Now, what happens if tomorrow comes and you don't actually eat those foods? Well, clear it out of your box, clear it out of your meal entry for that space. Look and see now what you have remaining. So it's going to tell you your new number of what protein, carbs, and fats you need to fulfill. And then start playing around with the search engine. If you're going to McDonald's, type in chicken sandwich. If you're going to Longhorn, type in steak. Whatever it is, you're going to start putting that in ahead of time. And if it fits the numbers, you're going to eat it. If a little piece of chocolate cake comes with it and it fits in your numbers, you're going to eat it. But it's not going to be winging it anymore. It's going to be your plan and it's going to be your numbers. Okay. The very last part I wanted to show you is when you go right here is my 5 ground rules for cheat meals. And I feel like this is where most people always seem to go wrong is they wait for this cheat meal and it turns into a cheat day. And then they feel guilty about it for a couple of days and then they never get back on track. Well, that's not the point. The whole point of a cheat meal is to actually kind of, one, give your body that satisfaction and, fulfill that craving. More than anything, you want it so it can kind of shock your body into saying, oh my gosh, I'm not dieting anymore. And then right back the very next day, you start dieting again. And your diet again is going to be your lifestyle meals. So it's not going to be something where you ever have to regret it ever again. So the number one thing for cheat meals is no guilt. Savor it, enjoy it. Allow yourself or don't allow yourself to feel guilty. If you feel guilty, you're missing the point. So cheat meals are going to be like your mini breaks. If you are an alcoholic that has to quit alcohol or a drug addict that has to quit drugs, you can't have those things ever again. I'm telling you, you just have to wait 5 days or 6 days and you can try whatever pizza or whatever it is that you like, you can eat it. But you're going to start to fit it into your numbers and you're not going to feel guilty about it. The next thing is plan your indulgence meals. The worst thing I see is people say it's their cheat day and then they don't pay attention to what they're eating. They just eat stuff. And a lot of times it's food that they wouldn't even normally eat. They're just eating it because it's their cheat day. Okay. So plan your indulgence meals. And what I tell people to do is say during the week, it's Tuesday and you're craving a Butterfinger, write Butterfinger down on a Post-it and throw that on your fridge. Use that as like your whatever, saving grace when you're going to pull something bad out of the fridge. Know that that reward or that meal or that thing that you're craving is going to be waiting there for you on Friday or Saturday, whenever you decide to have it. If on Thursday you just can't go without having pizza another day, hold back the temptation, wait a day or two, and put it on that day where it's planned. All right. Don't just go with a free-for-all. Make sure you have a game plan. And that way, when you come to Monday, again, you don't feel guilty about it, but you do feel fulfilled. If you just ate in a free-for-all, you're going to feel like crap. Your body's not going to feel good. You're not going to have energy. And mentally, you're going to be disappointed in yourself. So don't forget everything you know about portion control. An indulgence meal it should not be a license to binge. Instead, plan it, measure it, and enjoy it. So again, if you want to have pizza, have 2 slices, maybe a third. Don't eat a whole pizza. The next thing, limit your indulgence meals to 2 times a week most of the time. I like how I put most of the time here, and that's important to remember. Guys, we're going to fall off track more than once. If you're doing this for the rest of your life like you should, you're probably going to fall off track once a week or once a month. We fall off track, what, like every other day? She said, we don't want to talk about it. But it is. Like, guys, you need to make this a part of your day-to-day. If you mess up, no big deal. Just jump right back on track the next day, okay? So this one's self-explanatory, I think. If your cheat meals become more frequent, they are no longer called cheat meals. You're just cheating yourself, all right? Very last one, number 5, move on. Don't let it be a trigger or don't let it be an indulgence meal to trigger more bad eating. It's just, don't think, oh, I already messed up this morning, I'm going to mess up the rest of the day. No, move on. Like, you got the weekend to have whatever else you want to have, but don't just free for all it because you had one bad mess up. All right, move on. All right, guys, that is going to be it for here. If you have questions, I'm going to see if I can pull them up here. If I can't see them, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I'll answer back to every single thing that's posted on here. I want to make sure you guys understand and grasp this information all the way. Again, if you can take a little bit of time to learn what a protein, a carb, and a fat is, if you can take a little bit of time to go in and get MyFitnessPal, go to the goal setting, set your calories, set your protein, carb, and fat numbers, and then if you can take another 5 minutes to turn your phone sideways and start entering some different meals into your day-to-day plan, guys, it's going to do a big deal of difference for you. It's going to make a lot of anxieties that you have removed and alleviated because now you're going to know. All right. The biggest thing that always bothers people is the unknown. Am I eating enough? Am I not eating enough? How much protein should I have? All these different things hold you back, and it really could be alleviated with just a little bit of planning. So it's 8:02 right now. Take a few seconds, download MyFitnessPal, jump on there. If you haven't had your body fat tested recently, just enter your weight or the weight you want to be times 10, and you're going to put that in the goals. Then you're going to set your protein to 40%, carbs to 30%, fats to 30%, and start building your meal plan. If you have questions on any of this stuff, screenshot it, leave it in the comments. Everybody here is going to be able to help everybody with this. I am now going to post this link here, your all-in-one nutritional reference guide, in the comments. Please make sure you save this page. If you have Chrome, you're going to go ahead and press the star button. If you don't have Chrome and you're one of the iPhone people, you're going to press the little, it's a box with an arrow pointing down. If you do that, it's going to leave a little icon, a little bookmark on your desktop or on your homepage on your phone. That way it's an easy reference for you. Again, the more you have to search for something, you're not going to do it. You're going to go back to old habits. So have it convenient, and just as convenient as whatever your bad option is. Guys, thank you for taking the time tonight. Again, we'll answer all these questions in the comments below. I thought I was going to be able to see comments, and I don't see them here. So, again, we're using a new software, but I'll make sure I get everybody answered. If you have anything private and personal you need to message me, please click that little messenger button right there and send me a private message on that. Personal page is always going to be better than the business page. Very last thing I want to comment is on this page for the all-in-one nutritional reference guide. If you are not one of our clients already, we have here a 2-week free bootcamp and meal plan. Now, the one thing with this too is this is going to be able to give you an unlimited test drive of bootcamp. More importantly than anything, it's going to give you a meal plan that you can just go ahead and download right now as soon as you put your name, email, and cell. And that way you can start building your meal plan based on this stuff here. If you've never been to bootcamp, guys, don't be scared of it. It's not something you should be scared of. It's really something to where you are going to be in a comfort zone the second you walk into that door. Everybody always fears the unknown, but I'm telling you, we're one big happy fitness family. You're going to get a hug probably within the first 20 seconds of being in the building. If you're not a hugger, probably not a good place to be. Guys, that's all I got for you tonight. Please, again, leave your questions in the comments. It's been awesome, and I hope we get everybody on track starting this weekend. See ya.